JBN, we keep you informed. Gunmen shoot 2 persons, one fatally in St. Anne's Bay. The St. Anne police are probing a gun attack in the parish capital of St. Anne's Bay, in which 2 persons were shot, one fatally by armed men on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified as 28-year-old Tremaine James of Windsor in the parish. According to reports, at about 11:50 p.m., James and a female were at the intersection of Market and Musgrave Streets in St. Anne's Bay when armed men opened fire, hitting them. The hoodlums then fled the area. The police were summoned and the wounded individuals were assisted to the hospital where James was pronounced dead. The woman was admitted in a stable condition. A motive for the shooting incident has not yet been established. Businessman found dead with a gunshot wound in St. Anne. The body of a businessman was found with a gunshot wound on Cottage Road in Content Garden, St. Anne on Monday morning. The deceased has been identified as 52-year-old Ricky Sams of Upton in the parish. The police's Corporate Communications Unit (CCU) reported that about 7:30 a.m. a passerby saw the body in a gutter and alerted law enforcers. On the arrival, Sams was seen with a gunshot wound. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue. It is understood that residents of the area heard gunshots in the area on Sunday night and summoned the police. However, nothing unusual was observed at the time. Investigations are ongoing into the latest murder to rock the Garden parish of St. Anne. 10-year-old sexually assaulted. A normally quiet community in Clarendon is in shock after a 10-year-old special needs girl was sexually assaulted last Wednesday. Head of the Clarendon Police, Senior Superintendent of Police Glenford Miller, said he's aware of the case. However, he was not in a position to speak on the matter. In the meantime, the principal of the school that the child attends said that a student told her about the incident last Monday. Her mother is intellectually challenged and her mother was raped too. So this is very hard, the principal said. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency said it had received calls about the incident and is currently investigating. Men charged following gun seizure in Trelawny. 2 men were arrested and charged with illegal possession of a gun and ammunition during an operation on the Davis Penman Road in Trelawny on Sunday. The police report that about 2 a.m., a team was on operation when the driver of a Nissan motor car was signaled to stop. The police say the driver complied, the vehicle was searched, and a .357 Magnum firearm along with 4 rounds of ammunition was found. The 2 occupants of the vehicle were subsequently arrested and charged. Farmer charged in St. Catherine shooting. The police have charged 29-year-old Nicholas Orr in relation to the shooting injury of a man on Sunday, November 3 in St. Catherine. According to the police, Orr, a farmer of Smith Avenue, Old Harbour in the parish, is accused of opening gunfire at a man on Old Street, also in the parish, about 7:30 a.m. The man was hit in the abdomen, was able to give a statement to the police. The police said Orr was arrested during an operation and placed on an identification parade where it was pointed out. Orr is charged with wounding with intent and illegal possession of a gun. However, a court date has not yet been finalized. Canadian man to answer to cocaine charges. A Canadian man was arrested on Sunday, December 8, while trying to board a flight with $1.5 million worth of cocaine. He to appear in the St. James Parish Court on Wednesday, December 18. The man has been identified as 61-year-old Frederick Williams, a tile of Mississauga, Canada. Williams was arrested at the Sangster International Airport as he attempted to board a flight destined for Toronto, Canada. Lawmen said that during the security screening, Williams' behavior rose the officer's suspicion. He was taken to the hospital where X-ray scans reportedly showed anomalies. The police said he later expelled 142 homemade capsules containing cocaine. Williams is to answer to charges of possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, and attempting to export cocaine. Car thief arrested. The police have arrested a man following an incident in which a taxi operator was robbed of his car and other belongings at gunpoint at the Southborough roundabout in Portmore, St. Catherine on Wednesday, December 11. Detectives recovered the motor car and arrested and charged 25-year-old Chedo Murray in connection with the incident. Lawmen said Murray, otherwise called Diego, a graphic artist of Daytona, Portmore in the parish, has been charged with robbery with aggravation and illegal possession of a gun. The police said at about 9:15 p.m. Murray and another man boarded the taxi posing as passengers. Murray then reportedly brandished a gun and robbed the taxi operator of cash and his motor car. According to the police, the taxi operator escaped from the vehicle and reported the matter to the police. The vehicle was recovered in St. Andrew. Murray was arrested and placed on an identification parade where he was pointed out by the complainant. It's going to be a sad Christmas for some residents of Flankers, just days after Dr. Horace Strang promised to aggressively tackle criminal elements during this time, the festive season. Some residents are being made to experience the hellish side of that promise. In a matter of days, the community of Flanker has seen a number of its male residents swept up, allegedly beaten and detained by the security forces, with no hope of being released until 2020, marking what is shaping up to be a dark Christmas for themselves and their families. That situation has sprung Attorney at Law Charles Sinclair into action, who has since made a submission to the Emergency Powers Tribunal on behalf of 11 men from the community who were detained, demanding due consideration for the men to be released. The men were detained when a joint police-military team raided the community, picked them up, and took them to the St. James Police Headquarters in Freeport, Montego Bay, where they have since been held. Things did not go that smoothly, however, for those who were detained, with family members relating the traumatic circumstances under which their loved ones were taken. Latoya Gardner, the common law wife of 33-year-old chef Todd Perkins, one of the men detained, said he was brutalized and locked up with no explanation. He go fi buy a box road from a food shop around the corner, and when they see him, them box him up, them haul and pull him and lick him, thump him in the blind eye and fling him in a wall. Then they carry him over a yard and try to shoot him, but the clip drop out, she said. It was a different scenario for John Smith of Tyler, who was in the process of laying tiles when he was approached by the police, as explained by his sister Elaine Thompson. He was working, doing tiling, when they come up to him and him say, I work, and the police say, I work too. And them throw him tools aside and then them pull him away. They did not hurt him, but when we ask why, they say, shut up, it's a state of emergency. Marvin Lewis must have prayed that he had stayed at church some time longer, as he was swept up by the lawmen after coming from church with his family. Saskia Lewis, Lewis's sister, explained what happened with her brother. Him just pick up his mother and daughter, him family from church, and the bus was left on the highway. As him step out of the bus and walk in, them took him up and said, go on at the truck, and carry him down with them. In another case, Monica Hendricks, the mother of Delano Hinnis, one of the others detained, said her son was just standing among a group of people when the joint police-military team commanded them to join the rest of the men in the truck. Amidst the detainments, the families of the men are relying on the work of the hotshot attorney to bring their relatives home for the holidays. Sinclair shared his experience in trying to help the families. I've spoken to police officers. Nobody has presented anything to me for their detention. There has been no interview save the regular processing, but no question and answer. What I've done on their behalf is submit the application to the tribunal for them to determine whether they should continue in detention or if they should be released. Sinclair further explained that comments from the police officers are suggesting that the men are going to be detained until January 2020, despite no valid reasons being given for their detention. It is something that I've raised with the Minister of National Security to say that anybody who is detained under Regulation 30 of the Emergency Powers Regulation, which allows a police officer or a member of the military to detain a person for a reasonable cause, that were in an act that threatened public safety, that a statement be written which outlines what his responsible cause is based on, which must be made available to the detainee or to his attorney. I have not been able to get any such information. Price tag caught on iconic MoBay welcome sign. Public and political pressure has forced the Ministry of Tourism to reduce the $17 million price tag it had announced a year ago to construct Montego Bay's iconic welcome sign at the Sangster International Airport roundabout to $14.7 million. The taxpayers of Jamaica spent $9.7 million and the private sector put $5 million. And we have a facility that came out at $14.7 million, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett said as he launched the official start of the 2019-2020 winter tourist season. The construction of the welcome sign was announced by Bartlett in November last year. Bartlett used Saturday's launch to unveil a plaque in recognition of the contributions made toward building the sign by members of the private sector. What a scandal that is, quipped Barrett in a direct swipe at the opposition People's National Party, which along with other members of the public decried the cost of the sign as exorbitant. Isn't that a powerful scandal? Bartlett questioned. If that's what scandals are made of, give us some more, because that is what we joy ourselves in, making sure that the good we do, if evil is spoken of it, we smile because it's biblical, and we continue only to do our good, he said. The Montego Bay sign at the Sangster International Airport's entrance and exit is a project of the Tourism Product Development Company and is sponsored in part by the Tourism Enhancement Fund. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.